live again. Same time.
Yes, we are live again, and this time we are very lucky, Zayne. You know why?
No, why?
Because there is no major sporting event tonight that would be colliding with our broadcast. So
Yeah.
hopefully the viewership will be at least slightly higher this time. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun tonight because it's time for us to play a game. And would you like to explain the game, or shall I explain the game as a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, I think you should, because that's where the inspiration comes from.
Okay, so Gary holds like consecutive, let's say, like the series of videos. I saw it mainly on Instagram, but probably he distributes it on other channels as well.
On YouTube, yeah.
It's called Overrated, Underrated, where he says whether a certain thing is overrated or underrated or properly rated, right?
Mm.
But what Gary does, Gary talks about actually everything. Like, I think it's based on the comments of people. So if people say like spaghetti carbonara, then he would be like, oh, underrated or overrated.
Yeah.
Or maybe red wine, like some type of red wine, and he would be like, oh, underrated, whether it's underrated or overrated in his opinion. So
Yeah.
we decided to give it our own twist, and we will focus on entrepreneurship. And first we will make a call whether certain brands are overrated or underrated, then entrepreneurs, and finally we will talk about some trending business ideas, and we will express our opinion whether these are overrated or underrated.
Indeed.
Yeah, so I think that's it, and we should crack on, right?
Yeah. Start with the brand. Start with the
Okay.
brand.
So I explained the game. So give your brand that you prepared for us.
Okay. So I only picked some very big brands because obviously we might have people who are listening from different places. So first brand I picked is Nike. Overrated or underrated?
I have this one in my on my list as well, but I
Ideal.
have some backups. So
Okay.
yeah. Okay. So make your call, explain it, and then I will make my
So
call.
Nike, I think it is overrated.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. But I think that was in the past. I think it's because all the shoes, for me, it's just like quality, like I used to wear it, but I think it's like a bit pricey, purely from a customer perspective, Plus, I'm not some basketball fan or whatever, where when they do some collaboration or conjunction with football stars or whatever, that they have their special shoes. Like Nike just doesn't resonate with me as a brand anymore, because I just don't justify the quality. I think it's a lot of branding that goes with it. However, my perspective of them is slightly changing, because they are starting to, obviously when we're recording this, metaverse is becoming a big thing. And Nike has announced that they are making some virtual shoes in the metaverse environment, which makes you think, oh, okay, they actually might be a very innovative company if they are already trying to path their way to how it's going to look like. God knows. But for me at the moment, they're still overrated, but it's purely coming from a consumer spending perspective. Like, spending things on their goods doesn't make me any like I don't resonate as much with their ethos, basically.
Okay.
You clearly think differently.
Yeah. In my opinion, properly rated.
Okay.
Because of the legacy, but I see what you mean, but they are too pricey and stuff like that. So in my opinion, like, there are two main things that are interesting for me when it comes to Nike products. One of them are shoes, and when it comes to like some shoes from the past, wow, they amazing. Like Nike Air Max 90 or Nike Air Max 1 or
Mm.
any Air Max from the past, any Jordans from the past,
Oh yeah.
Nike Dunks, whatever, you name it. These uh, these shoes are like, they live over decades, right?
Mm.
Uh, but when it comes to football t-shirts lately, football jerseys, in terms of design, they became very lazy. Everything is the same. Everything is lame. So yeah, there are some pros. There are some cons. So I would say, yeah,
Properly
in the
rated.
middle.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
Next brand, this time a brand for me,
Yeah.
it's Tesla.
Oh, I
And
have this as well.
okay, okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So Tesla, whatever, overrated in my opinion, because I think that right now all the hype around Tesla, people are hyped up because of the technology, but in my sense, this technology has been in place among biggest car manufacturers already, but they were keeping it, let's say, in the shadows
Mm.
because of the product life cycle. So
Mm.
they still wanted to capitalize on regular engines as long as they could, but then Tesla stepped in
Mm.
and they started challenging them. So that's a plus for them. But I think that still some of their cars, mainly Model 3 and Model X, they look ultimately ugly as for cars of their price.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
like like I think Model X cost like close to 100,000 pounds, right?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
right?
I
Uh,
don't
But,
know.
but in Poland, it's probably like 500,000 zlotys. And for
Mm.
500,000 zlotys, you can have amazing, beautiful Mercedes, right?
Mm. Mm.
Not fucking ugly Tesla Model X. Sorry, but that's and also their model range is still quite narrow,
Mm.
so a bit too much hype in my sense around Tesla.
I agree with you. I think they're slightly overrated as well. But I think there are two reasons why. One is because product quality. So I agree that they are very advanced in terms of their technology. You know, it's like EV, they're probably the first one that goes into market, etc., etc. And I actually think they're going to do really well in future. But as of now, because I work in a car company and I used to go into like factories, etc., and then people like test things out. So what the engineer said was that one of the external engineers, not in-house one, external ones who work for another company when they're fitting like tracking devices for vehicles, they said Tesla's build was really bad. So for example, if you take a component out, it's really hard to put it back in. So it's almost like it's built to not be retrospectively fittable. And even if it does, it's quite a challenge to be able to do that. So I think it's build quality. And I think also if you buy like an EV car, there's so many options nowadays. Um, I think it's just can't, I just don't know how to justify the price, which leads me to my second point, which is I think people buy that car just for status, just because they think I'm cool, I've got some
I'm cool,
money.
I'm innovative, yeah, I
Exactly.
like
I care about
technology.
the environment, you know, and I've got lots of cash, so I just buy one car. I think it tells a lot about people's status. So yeah, you know, I think technology wise they are very good. You know, they can go very quickly, very fast, etc. But it's like a lot of people's dream car. But I just think at the moment it's not really accessible to people, and it's not accessible to people. That means that you're creating a community of people who have a certain level of status. So that's like an elite club, isn't it? So yeah, that's the way I see it.
Okay, next one.
Cool. Okay, next one. Let me type this in here. Right, which one shall I pick? Let's pick this one. This might be quite interesting. Disney.
Oh, I have it on my list as well.
Okay, we can only do 5 then, because otherwise we
Okay,
just keep overlapping
you
each
know
other.
what? I think we just spent too much time together and we start thinking alike. That's
The
why.
same thing. Okay.
Okay, go
Disney.
ahead with your opinion, then I will follow up.
Okay. Disney, I think it is underrated. Um, I think it's underrated from a commercial standpoint. For me, it was just like I think Disney has got so much rich history with it that they haven't really commercialized yet. For example, everybody knows Mickey Mouse, everybody knows all the characters, everyone grows up watching like Cinderella, and then now they do Frozen. It's like a massive thing. But I don't think they have really tapped into the full potential of extracting value out of the characters that they've created and the rich heritage and history that they've created for people. Um, and obviously it's underrated. It's like, every freaking parent wants to take their kids to a Disneyland, right? So they create so much, but it doesn't get talked often enough about how they managed to create this culture and really influence generations upon generations of people. I don't think people talk enough about it and just take it for granted. Just like, oh, it's just Disney, we just do it. But they don't really spend enough time thinking how Disney actually built up this level of engagement with their audience. That I don't really believe there's no one who doesn't know Disney. Like, how did you get, like, how?
Or
So
maybe not Disney itself, but at least let's say one of their products.
oh, exactly. Characters of a Disney, right? Like, I can't believe no one, from young people to old people, everyone knows some level of Disney. So I think that's amazing, but it doesn't get talked often enough. So what do you think?
Uh, like I agree that it's hugely underrated
Mm,
because we don't realize how much of market share in terms of, let's say, moving pictures they
mm,
have, because it's not only movies, it's and cartoons, it's also about television, for example. They
mm.
have like plenty, like I believe they have ESPN, they have like
Marvel.
Discovery Group, etc. So hugely underrated.
Mm,
Okay, so let's move on with next brand,
okay,
and
let's
and
see.
the suggestion for me, it's TikTok.
Ah, okay.
and
Ah,
and in my opinion, TikTok right now, as we speaking, is properly rated.
okay.
If we were supposed to talk, if we were supposed to talk about TikTok, let's say 1.5 year ago, then I would say it's hugely underrated, because it was hugely underrated until the whole thing with banning TikTok in the US, potential takeover by Microsoft, etc., etc. The thing is that right now people realize that, okay, TikTok is out there next to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, right? So right now it's properly rated. It gets enough attention, uh, but I think in terms of marketing opportunities, it's still hugely underrated in terms
Mm,
of like uh, TikTok being used by brands. Like
mm.
I think that more brands are supposed to show up on TikTok.
Mm. I think TikTok is underrated actually. I think it still have a huge amount of potential growth. I think the reason is because I'm a bit mixed on this because I think it has got great potential to potentially get more young people in it because it's like that type of content that is so concise, so quick, gets the point across, and then you go to the next one. It's like massive quick consumption, which also makes people have very short attention span at the moment. So for me, it's overrated in that sense, but I think it's underrated in terms of, like you say, the marketing potential is still underrated. And actually, I think TikTok's got so much feature. Like, let's say For example, if you are able to connect TikTok, the video that TikTok created, but feed this into, I don't know whether it's your website or you sell it as something, I think it has got more opportunity in monetizing the content that people has created, because also TikTok is like one of those things that people keep sharing, right? So I think it hasn't given creator enough credit yet in terms of the commercialization opportunity that they can extract. But obviously, TikTok, I don't know. Again, this is the only reason I mentioned this is because I'm in this sort of the NFT area. I know that they are doing something in that space. So I think that will really bring, I think, a different opportunity into TikTok. But whether it will work out or not, no one knows. But I think for people who have audience on TikTok already, I think that will really help them to give them the like creator, if you're a good creator, you deserve to earn your rewards. And I think at the moment that's probably what they're missing, which is just reward more for their creator so that people don't just create a stupid 15-second video, but a 15-second video that is worthwhile creating, basically. So that's what I think it's underrated still. Yeah. All right. So which one shall I go for? I think this one we will disagree on, but actually, since you talked TikTok, I want to go with this. YouTube, overrated or underrated? Actually, I just mistyped.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
share
so
your opinion, and probably it will influence my opinion.
yeah, my opinion is actually I wasn't going to come up with this one, but I decided to change it last minute. I think YouTube is underrated. Um, Only from the standpoint of, if there's only one social media app I would keep, like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. I don't know. I don't have TikTok, but TikTok, Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat, but if only I can keep one, I will probably keep YouTube. Um, Only reason is for me is because on YouTube you can literally almost find answers to every single question that you potentially want to ask in the world, and someone is laying it out nicely for you. So for me, obviously it's owned by Google, so there's obviously Google's algorithm in place to make sure it gives you the right content, etc. But for me, as someone who likes to learn a lot, who likes to watch videos and take in knowledge, for me it's massively underrated. Like, I don't like to read words, like I'm a very visual person, so watching videos help me, and it doesn't just come with video, it's also different types of videos, so I can really pick the one that suits my need of fulfilling my knowledge gap. So I probably spent majority of my time on YouTube if it was on my desktop. So and also we're doing this on YouTube, right? There's opportunity for us to connect with people, etc. And YouTube is also developing features like creating community, gated content, and subscription model within YouTube, those kind of things. But not many people utilizes it. So I think for me, it's underrated at the moment, slightly underrated. But yeah, what do you think?
For me, properly rated,
Okay.
because um, for me, YouTube used to be huge when it comes to music, but I think they lost quite a lot in favor of Spotify. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
honest, in this area. Uh, I'm not sure if they will be able to really compete with Shorts against
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
TikTok or Instagram Reels.
Mm,
I'm really skeptical about that.
mm,
When it comes to subscription model, I think they should observe Twitter and take the lesson from them, because Twitter created something like super follows, right? So if you pay a creator, you can read some additional tweets from them, right?
mm,
Some some gated content.
yeah.
So what if you had them a possibility to put a gate in front of your more valuable content on YouTube? What if YouTube could compete with platforms like Udemy or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
so
Mm,
for me, like, if they could use that, then I would say, okay, congrats. But
Yeah.
right now, I think that they are missing out on some opportunities, and they are focusing on, let's say, not appropriate opportunities.
Mm,
Like they should think in categories of becoming new TV, right?
mm, mm.
Because okay, it's learning, but what about, you know,
Entertainment.
what about net? So let's look at the fact that Netflix and Apple TV, for example, or Disney, they are bringing some parts of television on their platforms, right? Some programs and stuff like that. YouTube is not doing well in that area, and
Mm,
actually, in my opinion, they have more possibility of becoming TV because of live streaming. Like you
mm,
don't have live streams on Netflix, Apple TV, or Disney Plus, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So yeah, so much
Okay,
opportunities.
yeah. So that's it when it comes to brands, right? We had
Yeah,
five. So let's start with entrepreneurs. And first entrepreneur for me, because I we spoke about his
yeah.
brand, it's Elon Musk.
Oh, this is on my list as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
go.
so my opinion on Elon Musk evolved over time. I thought that he is hugely overrated. Then I tend to think of him as properly rated or even maybe slightly underrated. But right now, again, I'm thinking that he's hugely overrated based on a Tesla, because and I said Tesla is overrated in my sense. That's one part of it. The other part of it is cryptocurrency, because uh, it's okay. It's not his fault. It's the fault of people. But actually, one of the ideas behind cryptocurrencies was that people were fed up with big banks, big corporations influencing stock market, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's be honest, cryptocurrencies are very much like stock market.
Mm-hmm,
The market of cryptocurrencies is very much like stock market,
mm-hmm,
and people didn't want like influence from big parties, right?
mm, mm.
And now most of the market is influenced by one guy who is tweeting something from time to time, and with just one tweet influencing the whole market.
Yeah,
Like, what's wrong with you people?
yeah,
So that's why I think that Elon Musk is hugely overrated at the moment.
yeah. I agree with you on that front. I think what you just said is completely what I think. I think obviously he is very successful, you know, created like Tesla, SpaceX. So obviously he has a big name in the entrepreneurial world. So everyone thinks of Elon Musk like a god, you know. And so whatever he says must be true. But they didn't see that he has a playful character. So
Yeah,
that's why he just tweets stuff and people just think, oh, this is going to be a big thing. And then they just jump on it without knowing that actually Elon is just having a bit of fun, you know. So he likes to see it. And so I think I'm not him obviously, and I think he having a bit of fun is probably okay because he's Elon Musk. But I would just say maybe when someone has got that level of influence, he probably should be a bit more aware about what he puts out there, because it can make people earn a lot of money. It can also make people lose a shitload of money.
yeah,
So I think just being careful about that. So cool.
exactly.
Okay, you come up with Elon Musk. So, hmm, I will go with a not a very famous one, but
Okay.
if people know fitness, they might know. Do you know Ben Francis?
Oh, Gymshark.
Yeah, Gymshark owner, founder and CEO of Gymshark, which I'm a huge fan of for the brand. I think he is underrated. I don't think he's a type of character who. Do you know that he recently had a partnership with Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, like he brought him on board of his company. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's like I think he's underrated because he's only 27 or 29, I think. Already created this, multi-million dollar business, which makes every single 20 odd people feel really bad. Feel like I'm wasting my life. But I think he's still underrated because he is a very, I've watched a few videos of his. I think he's a very polite person, but he's like, he has that level of like introverted confidence, like he's not like out there shouting about things, etc. He's just like quite a quite a reserved person, but you can feel his vibe and his confidence level. But he doesn't go out and keep shouting at things, like that type of character. And I think if people really observe the way that he thinks about things, he talks about things, you can really learn a lot. It's like he really thinks all these things through. And also, what I like is that he's not just successful in business, he also has like a stable relationship in his own personal life, etc. So I think he managed to get that balance right. In that, I always have this weird thing, like if someone is really successful but doesn't have a relationship, I'll be thinking like, well, maybe something is wrong, or but he managed to get the balance right. So for me, I think he's underrated. I think for me, I see him as like someone that I can learn from, etc. So yeah, I think Ben Francis is underrated. What do you think?
I can't say much about him
Hmm.
because I haven't, let's say, examined him as
That's fine.
much as you did. But based on my knowledge, I would say properly rated, because like when the news came out about Gary Vaynerchuk partnership, and also like he got some recognition already, like on
Hmm.
LinkedIn mainly, but and and also on Instagram, but he gets recognition for what he's doing. Bravo for him. Um, but at the same time, I have never bought anything from Gymshark,
Hmm.
but what I observe, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, Gymshark is a bit of a it's a bit of a copy of My Protein, but with better branding and marketing.
Okay.
That's the impression that I get. So I don't want to go too deep into that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I
Yeah.
don't know this brand that well, but in my sense, he just did My Protein better. Let's
Okay.
say.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone's got
That's why,
different views.
I would say that he's properly rated, gets recognition.
Hmm.
Haven't done anything extremely innovative in my sense. Just he done something better.
Sounds good.
Okay, so my proposition right now, very, like, not an obvious one, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh,
So The Rock,
yeah,
Mr. The Rock.
it's a good one.
And I'm I propose Dwayne Johnson here because, in my opinion, he's hugely underrated as an entrepreneur.
Okay, okay, okay.
He's properly rated, or maybe even overrated as an actor. No, it's not for me to judge. I like him as
Hmm.
an actor. He's not playing ambitious roles. He's sticking up with blockbusters. He can be extremely funny. So like I like him as an actor. So I would say as an actor properly rated, but as an entrepreneur, hugely underrated, because coming from being like, let's say, he used to be a wrestler. He he was more famous of his physique and stuff like that, but he managed to capitalize on all those things, and he became the best earning actor in Hollywood, and
Hmm.
and, and actually best earning actor in the whole world, right? So that's amazing in my sense. And also he has done quite a lot of different things around his, let's say, personal brand. One of them, he's his personal clothing brand, clothing line with Under
Under
Armour.
Armour. Mm.
So yeah, pretty impressive what he's doing.
It, I agree with you. I think he's underrated as well. I think he's secretly doing lots of things that people don't know. I think he started a brand. I think it's like 7 cents or something. Can't remember. But it was an amount of money that he named the company that amount of money because that was how much he has got left, I think, at one point in his life. And he just used that to remind himself the hardship that he has to go through to become who he is today. And also, I think he started a gin brand on his own. So he has a wine, or is it spirits or gin? I don't really know.
I think tequila.
Tequila.
I,
Tequila.
uh,
Yes, tequila.
because Ryan Reynolds has gin, and I think that The Rock has tequila.
Yes, I think you're right. He has his own branded tequila, but he doesn't shout about it. It's like, oh, he just does this thing because he likes it. So not many people know about it, right? So I think he is underrated, definitely. I think definitely. I like him very much. Cool. I don't think we have time for business ideas. So anyway,
Okay, let's just two more
let's just do one.
entrepreneurs, and that's it.
Okay, so I want to bring a lady in here. So this one you might not have heard of it before. Sarah Blakely.
I've heard the name, but don't remember the context.
Okay, so she is based in America, obviously. She founded this company called Spanx, and it's everything to do with like women's thigh wear and all those kind of stuff. And she created this like massive business, which I think got sold for $1 billion sale, self-made. So self-made billionaire. And I heard her story a lot. So she talks about how she managed to land clients who owns like massive department stores, get her products in there, and how she hustled. She had to run from one department store to another. She had to do all the product introduction herself. She sneakily like put some products here, some products there to prompt people to buy it. And she finds some ways and techniques to like encourage people or give people the sense that the product is selling really well. So for example, once the product goes live on the department store, she would call out her friends to say, can you go to this store and buy some of those products, or if I can buy it back off of you, etc. By just giving people the impression that things are going really well. So I think she's really, when we talk about, really trying every single way to get to where you want to be, I think she is a real representation of that. And then she was really young. And when you hear her story, she's also very true. She's like very real about her story. It's just like she has that business acumen, but she also hasn't lost that human aspect of her. She's not being arrogant or etc. She's like very passionate about helping people. So I think she is underrated because not many people know about it. Well, at least not in the UK, for example, maybe in America, because Spanx is a big brand in America. But over here, I don't think when people talk about entrepreneur, people think of her. Plus, she's a female entrepreneur, which I think always doesn't make things easier when you are of that gender. I think it's just the way the real life works. So yeah, that's what I
Okay.
think.
You know what? Now I reminded myself where I have heard her name before.
Okay.
I was listening to Richard Branson ebook, and he
Okay.
mentioned her. So
There we go.
if Richard Branson mentions her, then she's hugely underrated because she's not well known, but
Yeah.
she should be well known.
Yeah.
That's it. I can say really more about her.
Okay. Of
So I'm not
course.
prepared. Okay, pretend. So the last one,
Mhm.
let's make it a honorable mention because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't play this game.
Okay.
So Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, I know you would mention him. I know it. Okay. What do you think?
He didn't really resonate with me at the beginning, but then I read his book. But then I started listening to him more. And then I read his book and then he became kind of an big inspiration for me.
Mm.
Uh, but right now, maybe a bit overrated.
You think?
Like slightly,
Okay.
slightly. Like
Okay.
uh, when it comes to let's talk about him through the angle of of Ben Francis,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Ben Francis appointed him as a member of the board of his company, but I'm not sure whether Ben Francis appointed him for the sake of, yeah, this guy
An influencer.
is like top, that's why I want him on the board, or
Mm.
this guy is definitely more well known than I am,
Mm.
I mean than Ben
Yeah, yeah,
Francis
yeah.
is, and maybe because Ben Francis wants to get, maybe attract more investors, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Maybe, getting Gary Vaynerchuk on board makes his brand a bit more credible to some
Mm-hmm.
extent. So, you know what? I'm not saying that, like, I hugely admire. I hugely admire Gary for his drive. At least what he's talking about, his drive, about the
Mm.
fact that he was he kept on hustling, he kept on pushing. I admire that, but uh, whether he's that great of a business mind, I'm not sure. Like when I watched one of his latest content with him going around some neighborhood, going to some garage sales, and and he was buying some shit from garage sale, and then talking about how much money he can make of this thing that he bought on garage sale. That's a bit, I don't know. I had mixed impression about this content.
Okay.
So uh I'm thinking that maybe a bit overrated at the moment.
Okay. I actually think he is properly rated.
Okay.
Um, I think the reason is just because, I think what you mentioned about like his obviously I know him because he does a lot of like talks, etc. So it's all like um very inspirational, passionate talk, etc. there to sort of inspire people. But I also think about things like he always keeps saying that people see him as this guy who is like they're shouting about positivity, etc., etc. But the truth is that he does also operate a business with 1,000+ employees. So um, but and I'm not saying that that is a point to as a justification. I'm just thinking that if he built that up from ground zero, then is it just that he might be seeing something that we haven't seen yet because he is already, if there's a mountain, it doesn't matter whether he's here telling us the view over here is very good. We just see the mountain that we have to climb. So I don't know whether it's that difference that, so for example, he keeps saying, give value first, give value first, give value first. Then you take, right, the jab, 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 right hook. But most people don't do that because they think if they keep jabbing, they will just lose out. And then if they want to take money or whatever, it's already gone because they've given so much value. And it talks about like volume, etc. It doesn't really work that way. So I don't know. I think he's probably rated. It's only because I think he does operate a real life business, but he's also very on top of what he's saying. I think he preaches what he teaches. So I think for me, that's the most important thing. The last thing you want is someone to say, I do this, but actually they do something completely different. So I think at least he's not that type of a person. It feels like he's constantly on top when he says, give value, give value, give value, he actually is giving value first. I think at least he does that himself. But maybe it's because also he is who he is already. So maybe it's a bit harder for us to do that. But I think he's properly rated for now.
Okay. All right. So that was it when it comes to our deeper analysis of brands and entrepreneurs who are either overrated or underrated. I just wanted to make quick honorable mentions of two brands and three entrepreneurs left on my list, because what's funny is that I am left with brands and entrepreneurs who are hugely underrated in my sense.
Okay.
So
Before you go there,
yeah,
let's
follow,
just chill.
subscribe.
Yes, follow us on Instagram, and then make sure that if you like this content, we're trying to do something a bit more fun, a bit more different. So give us a like and subscribe if you if you
Yeah.
enjoy the show. So okay, back to you.
So first one, Nestle, because people don't realize
Nestle.
how many brands they actually own. The second one, I'm not sure whether brand is me or Xiaomi, but yeah, you know what I mean, right? The Chinese manufacturer of
Yes.
smartphones. I
Yeah.
also have like
Xiaomi.
like my screen is
Yeah.
Xiaomi or me or whatever.
Xiaomi. Yeah. Yeah.
Great products in my sense, in my opinion. So they should keep it up, but because of it's Chinese, people think like, oh, it's Chinese, but
Mm.
it's changing. uh Entrepreneurs, Phil Knight, so the founder
And
of Nike. mm, People like people should read Shoe Dog, and then they would really appreciate him. uh yes.
this is true.
uh Jack Dorsey, he has done huge thing for people when it came to coronavirus. He's doing loads of good things for this world. So yeah, Jack Dorsey, amazing person. And another Jack, this time Chinese Jack
Jack
Ma.
Ma. I have him on my list as well.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was it from
Very
me.
good. Very good. Very good. Cool. I think we'll leave it there, and then we will see you all next time. Remember, if you like it, follow us on Instagram at the Newborn Hustlers, and give us a like and subscribe if you enjoy the show. And maybe tell us what you want to see next time as well in the comment section below, so that we can create an episode for that. Okay, we out of here.
Yes.
Okay, we're out of here. Okay, see you all. Enjoy. Goodbye.